My mother had a friend that was, his name was, I don't know what the fuck was his name, Pepe Go. That means he's got like a bum leg, like he had like a little platform foot. Pepe Cojo was a drug dealer that was also doubling as a roofing company guy, and one day the roof fell on him in Miami, so he got a bunch of fucking dough from the settlement, so he didn't want to sell coke no more or be a roofer, so he started a fucking clothing line, right? Like in 1975 or some shit, and it was called Conti Valace, C-O-N-T with a slash Valace, like the Valace papers with Charles Bronson. So right away my dick got hard, and my mother said, listen, he sent you some shirts. Put these shirts on. They're really nice shirts. Wear them to school. I put one of the shirts on without really looking at it, and it was a fucking Greek orgy scene. Like my first day in 6th grade, I walked into school, and I didn't know it till the kids were like, what is that? Is that her pussy? I had like women with hairy pussies eating like grapes and shit. And I remember at the end of the day, Mr. Levito's like, I like the shirt. I go, I'm sorry. I fucking wore it. I didn't know what was on here. And he's like, okay, just don't wear it again, because obviously you got the kids riled up. But that was my relationship with Mr. Levito on the first day. But he soon noticed, he goes, this motherfucker's too hyper. So he cut me a deal. He goes, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And you've all heard this deal before, because teachers have been doing it for years. They go, listen, if you behave all week, I'll let you go up on stage. I'll let you go up in the front of the class on Fridays at 1 o'clock. Because we had a choice then. We could either be a part of the ecology club, where you went to a park and picked up papers. Papa don't pick up no papers, even then in the 6th grade, right? And, or you could sit in class, or go to catechism. I think I got thrown out of catechism like 2 months in, because one of the kids asked the fucking priest, how did he know the Bible shit was for real? Anybody could have wrote that. It's a Mickey Mouse book. Oh my God. Get the fuck out, the whole thing. So my options now were the ecology club or to sit with these fucking jamokes in this class. But I figured the jamokes that sat down with a lot of girls. It was more girls than guys. So one day Levito goes, go ahead, do what you need to do up there. You did well. So I brought a record player to school. Well, they had a record player, and I put on Frankie Valli. And I would go up there every Friday and sing My Eyes Adored You. In the 6th grade, I thought I was a fucking crooner, right? Like I thought I was like Sinatra. But I was too ugly, so the girls wouldn't listen to me sing. I would walk over to them like with the fucking make-believe I had a microphone, and My Eyes Adored You, and they go away. Just go away. It was so embarrassing. So I figured my singing wasn't any good, so I started cracking jokes. And since the only fucking comic I really liked was the 6th grade, was Richard Pryor, I would basically go up there every Friday and do fucking the one album I showed you. Is it something I said? Bicentennial, whatever. I would bring all those. I would go down there and fucking do the thing verbatim. And he would just shake his head like, you can't fucking do this shit, But that's the story. Those are probably the inner roots of stand-up for me. So I always thanked them. I always thanked them in little things. Whenever I talk to people, they said they speak to Levito. I would always go, thank Mr. Levito for putting me on stage, So everything was going great. We're just up there telling stories about how we were going to kill the gym teacher, how fucking, and Mr. Levito was loving this shit. He's like, afterwards, he's like, Coco, you have a memory. He goes, I didn't remember half this shit. Telling stories about how we used to rob ShopRite as a kid and then go back and throw Hubba Bub at each other. Who throws Hubba Bub at each other? Nobody. But the highlight of the night, we were just getting into Carmine Balzano and how he beat up Mr. Totora. I mean, this shit was all happening right in front of us in grammar school. We spoke about my friend Anthony Balzano when he died, how fucking sad it was, how his parents went on the news, Channel 4 News, before fucking Saturday Night Live. It was just a great time. But the highlight of the night, I go, Mr. Levito, tell these motherfuckers what happened when they put a hit of acid in Mr. Agresta's coffee. He used to have a thermos, like that fucking Liquid IV thing, and he would put it on his desk and all day drink coffee from it while he was talking to the students and teaching. One of the kids took when he stepped out to get supplies, they took his coffee, it was hot, and they put a hit of blot of acid in it. And after lunch, this motherfucking teacher didn't come back. In fact, he didn't come back for 2 days. He couldn't have figured out what happened to him. He told me the story afterwards. So I go, do you remember when they put a hit of acid in Mr. Agresta's coffee? And he goes, yeah, he's right there. He was at the show. So he's like, I do remember that. And I go, hey, Mr. Gresta, how you doing? I had already stuck my foot in my mouth. I'm like, hey, Mr. Gresta, how are you doing? He goes, good, Coco. I go, listen, for the record, it wasn't me. But I'm not a Crime Stop. And the mystery, it was Eddie LaMenka. Eddie LaMenka was a crazy Cuban kid that moved to Florida fast as shit. This guy was a born thief. He could run. He could jump fences. Tremendous. So afterward, he came back and he goes, I can't believe they put a hit of acid in my thing. He goes, I heard about it years later that it was acid. He goes, they could have killed me. But he also reminded me about something else. He goes, the last time I saw you, you came up to me and asked me if I could fix you up with my niece, Patty Emerson. And I'm like, holy shit. Patty Emerson was a girl that was a sweetheart, just a dear friend of mine. And she was so sweet. I liked her so much. I'm like, you know what? I can't hit on this girl. She's just going to be my friend. And then we started calling her Patty Nat because at parties, people would see it and go, you know what? I want to take her for a date. And then I'm like, she's too sweet for you, man. But every guy would always go, oh, my God, look how hot she is. Maybe I'll go talk to Patty. And then they go, Nat. So her name ended up being Patty Nat. We would just call her Patty Nat because nobody was allowed to talk to her or to touch her. And I told this on the church. It got so bad with Patty Nat that I remember when she went to her first year at college, she came to Joe and Mary's and she's like, listen, guys, you got to stop fucking protecting me. I can't get no guys to hit on me because they know that if somebody hits on me, you guys, because one of my friends pissed on a guy that was making out with her. So it was just fucking, I go, that's your fucking niece? And he's like, yeah, she's doing great. She lives in Long Island. I go, send her my love. I haven't seen her in fucking years. But guys, it was just great to see one of your school. It inspired me so much. Over the weekend, I called like 2 other ones of my teachers. And I go, listen, I'm doing a show in the city. And I'd like for you guys to come. I'll send a car for you, an Uber, whatever. I have one of my friends come pick you up. You know, I got Mr. Barone. Mr. Terranova's mad at me because last week he was down the shore and he wanted for me to go see him, but we already had plans. He dropped it on me the day before, so I couldn't shoot. Oh, it was the day Lee was coming. So I was waiting on Lee to come. He was like, I'm having a party at 12. I'm like, dog, I don't know what time I get over there because my friend's coming. I don't want to rush over to your house and then him hit me in half fucking stride and I got to come back. So I ended up not going. I called him like Wednesday, didn't pick up the phone. That means he's mad at me for a few days. It fucking happens. But the fact that I tell you guys I was a tyrant, I was a fucking nightmare and all this shit, and I still communicate with my fucking teachers, it makes me proud. It really does, man. I felt so great after that show the other night, you know, and that's why I'd love to do a show like that. Just get one of my teachers, like before the book, I was thinking about this, getting like a teacher or an ex-coach or friends of mine that wouldn't mind being on camera or, not camera, wouldn't mind me bouncing off them. Like tell these motherfuckers about the time we mugged a dude in Jersey City, just anything. I don't know. I'm not saying I mugged a dude in Jersey City. I'm just saying, you know, it would be great to just confirm these stories. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, just fucking have a good time. Because they're all 30, 40 years ago. Nobody gives a fuck. You know, nobody cares. I can't believe I told the story on Rogan about this girl, Lori Jack, when we were growing up. When we were growing up, right? I just told the story on Rogan, maybe what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Yeah. The other day, one of my fucking high school buddies, who I talk to a lot, said to me, he called, we were talking about something. He goes, hey, man, you told me you did it, but I didn't believe you. And he goes, but I saw it the other day. He goes, do you know that the Lori Jack story has like 15 million downloads combined? Because I think Joe Rogan has it, somebody else had, and then people copied it.
Well, he's got a couple of clip pages.
I don't check on those things. I don't know what's out there. Yeah. He's like, it's got like 15 minutes. He goes, have you ever heard from her? Has she ever said anything to you? And I go, I see her on Facebook all the time.
She might not see you, though.
Huh?
She might not see
No. We're friends on Facebook. I know, she hit me up one day. You want to be friends? I'm like, ooh. That was a long time ago. And, you know, I mean, she's never said nothing to me. $15 million. He told me. He goes, no, she's around. You know, I see a post on there. Who the fuck knows, man? I'm just trying to fucking have a good time here. You know, I'm just trying to. That's it. This is what I've been doing lately, man. It's a different fucking world.